And today we're gonna talk about Mr. David Diepold. And I'm totally wrong, and Martin. If you look closely at his tom setup, you can see, which is also a really smart hack right here. Drumming community, we are back with another Drum Teacher Reacts video, and today we're gonna talk about Mr. David Diepold, the new drummer for Obscura. David is one of the teachers of the Drum Technique Academy. If you want to check out his full hand technique course, then make sure to check the link below, drumtechniqueacademy.net. You get the full course right after you sign up. So right now we're gonna watch his drum playthrough video of the Obscura song Vortex Omnivium. Let's do this. Alright, you have to stop right away. This opening drum fill is a combination of 32nd notes and 16-note triplets. That's something that you hear and see quite often in Obscura songs, that they switch between different note rates effortlessly. I'm not just talking about the drummers, but also guitar and bass. Single foot blast beat. Pay close attention to his hand technique during the blast beats. Left hand and right hand. Yes, open close technique. Especially with the left hand. His right hand technique looks kind of a mix of open close and push pull, but we're gonna talk about that one a little later. In this video he's using Chartier Copito pedals, but he recently switched to ACD Unlimited pedals Darwin FTW. When he was teaching here at the Drum Technique Academy office, I had a chance to test his pedals, and I can tell you that he's using extremely tight spring tension. Let's talk about his tom setup real quick. If you look closely at his tom setup, you can see that his toms are set up really flat. They are not angled like this, like Dave Lombardo does it. They are pretty flat. At one point he mentioned that he likes to set them up this way because this also forces him to sit up straight if he wants to hit the toms, which is also a really smart hack right here. Alrighty, let's continue. Okay, right hand technique looks like a bit of a push-pull right here. Tighter. All just played with his right foot. That sticking was interesting. Those of you who remember the Joey Jordison Drum Teacher Reacts video, in that video we talked about one of his sticking combinations. So again, the sticking that Jordison used was right, right, left. And David used it right, left, left. Jordison, David. So let's watch that fill again in slow motion. The cool thing right here is that if you combine David's sticking right, left, left with the Jordison sticking, you get a paradiddle diddle variation as end result, which sounds really cool. Alrighty, let's continue. Ghost notes as well. Really tasty drumming. Sixteen-note triplets, double bass. 32nd note double bass. Here's one other thing I'd like to mention. I often talk about combinations of 30-second notes and 60-note triplets. Like in this case, double bass was 60-note triplets at first, and then he switched to 30-second notes. When I talk about those note rates, I'm counting in the tempo of, I think the song is at 110 or 115 beats per minute. So in that tempo, the double bass part was 60-note triplets and 30-second notes. If you count this song in double time, so 220 or 230 BPM, again, I don't know the exact tempo of that song. If you count it that way, it would be eighth note triplets and 60 notes. So please be aware of that. What's the time signature, my friends? This one's for the nerds out there. Oh yes. All right, so pay close attention to his left hand. Open, close. Right hand, mix of open, close and push, pull. I think now is the right time to switch over to the practice pads and talk about David's hand technique. Alrighty, hand technique, open, close versus push, pull. Let's start with that one at first. I get comments pretty often from keyboard warriors out there telling me that the stuff that I call the open close technique is actually the push pull and I'm totally wrong, and Martin. Alright, so I'm gonna try to explain in 3 or 4 short sentences why I call one technique the open close and the other one the push pull technique. Again, this is the way that's most obvious for me and that's why I call it that way. Let's start with the open close technique. So open close technique to me looks the following. First of all, wrist down motion followed by opening your hand like this, open. That's why we call it the open close. Second part of the technique, the closing motion and wrist up motion. So open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Makes it really easy to demonstrate that with the Drum Nerds workout sticks, because in the practice setting it's easy to slow down each motion. Again, open, close, open, close. That's why I call it the open close technique. If we compare this to the push pull technique, first of all you got way more involvement of your forearm. For the first stroke you got this pushing motion, pushing the drumstick into the drum head or pad, push. And the second part of that motion is the pulling motion. So push, pull, like this. Push, pull, push, pull. An extreme version of the push-pull technique would be Lille Gruber, drummer of Defeated Sanity. Push, pull, push, pull. Comparison to the open, close, open, close, open, close. Alrighty, so now let's talk about the open close technique, remember? And one thing that no one seems to cover in their free YouTube videos. I have to be honest here, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. So basically I just learned that stuff from the teachers at the Drum Technique Academy who use this technique. So open close technique, one thing that you see online is that it's always separated into 2 parts. The opening part of that motion, open, and the closing part of that motion. But in reality, it's a sequence of 4 vitally important elements. So those 4 elements are, first of all, a wrist down motion. This is the first thing. Wrist down motion. As soon as the stick hits the pad, then you start the opening motion of the fingers. It's not that you open up your fingers in this position. You open the fingers once the stick hits the pad. Again, starting wrist down motion, first part of that sequence. Second part, when the stick hits the pad, the opening motion of the fingers, so wrist down, opening. The third part of that motion, of that sequence, is the closing motion of the fingers. And the fourth part is the wrist up motion. Again, those 4 parts in slow motion. First, wrist down motion, stick hits the pad, opening motion of the fingers. Third part of the motion, closing motion of the fingers. Fourth part, wrist up motion. The third and fourth element, so the closing motion and the wrist up motion, they are really compressed and really close together. But again, it's in this sequence. You cannot start with the wrist up motion without closing the fingers. Then the open close wouldn't work. Slow motion looks something like this. Quite easy to learn this technique with the workout sticks in the practice setting because it helps you just to slow down the stick so drastically. And I know at a certain tempo, those 4 elements kind of morph into each other, but it's always the same sequence. Right hand, both hands together. So that's the open close technique. Again, I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants. For a full explanation of that hand technique, make sure check out the Drum Technique Academy tutorial of David Diebold. You can find it in the course section, and also the in-depth tutorial by Kevin Paradis, which is also released in the Drum Technique Academy membership zone. Okie dokie, now that's enough with the open close technique. Let's switch back to the drum kit and watch some more of David's playing. Alrighty, David, we are ready. Tight. Pay close attention to his hand technique. Left hand looks like open close, right hand looks like a mix of open close and push pull. Awesome. Yeah. Here you can see that he's swiveling a bit with his left foot, but he's not like swiveling side to side for each stroke, but it's more like each time he swivels to one side, he hits 3 or 4 bass drum hits, and then to the other side again 3 or 4 bass drum hits. The right foot doesn't swivel at all. Awesome performance by David Diebold. Alrighty, drumming community, as you can see and hear, I'm a huge fan of my fellow Austrian metal drummer David Diebold. He has also joined Obscura recently, so I'm looking forward to the European tour. I'm sure that I'm gonna be at the show in Vienna, which happens pretty soon. If you want to learn more about the workout sticks, we're gonna make sure to link them below. Again, for David's full hand technique course, go to the Drum Technique Academy membership zone. That's drumtechniqueacademy.net. That's it for today's video. I hope you're having a great week. Cheers from Vienna. Bye bye.